מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, לה 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 לה, הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, לה 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 לה, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
Thank you, Cantor. We begin together on page 63 at the bottom. Yom Kippur is a day of thinking and remembering. Yom Kippur is a day to remember how we acted this past year. Yom Kippur gives us an opportunity to think about how we could have done a little better. Yom Kippur is a day to think about who we want to be this new year. Yom Kippur gives us an opportunity to say, I'm sorry, and start over again. As we begin our service today, we ask God to listen carefully to our apologies, our prayers, and our promises for the new year.
We're going to head over now to page 69. And here at the top of page 69, you find the words to a very, very special song. It's a song that reminds us that no matter what we might think about ourselves, like I'm too tall, or not tall enough, or my hair is too curly, or it's too straight, that we are beautiful to everyone who loves us, especially to God. And it's really important to love ourselves. I thank you for my life, body and soul. Help me realize I am beautiful and whole. I'm perfect the way I am, and a little broken too. I will live each day as a gift I give to you. And then you're gonna sing with me, whoa, like this. Whoa. Whoa. Whoa, whoa. Now we're going to try Hebrew. Baruch atah Adonai Rofech kol basar umafli lasot. We do that again. Here we go. Baruch atah Adonai Rofech kol basar umafli lasot. Whoa, whoa, Whoa. One more time, I thank you. I thank you for my life, body and soul. Help me realize I am beautiful and whole. I'm perfect the way I am, and a little broken too. I will live each day as a gift I give to you. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Thank you, Cantor. We continue now on page 73. Every day holds the beauty and wonder of the first day of creation. The high holy days remind us that new beginnings are precious and powerful. On this day, we begin our service with gratitude. We thank Adonai, the source of blessings, for the opportunity to start a new page of our individual stories. We will work with Adonai and one another, too. Open our eyes and our hearts to new ideas, to bring freedom to all people, to stand strong and together against injustice, to celebrate the image of God found in every person, to give of ourselves to strengthen our communities, to empower all people by honoring their voices. We thank you, Adonai, for these opportunities to bring blessings into this world. We thank you, Adonai, for filling this moment with potential.
We're going to move over to page 76, and we're going to stand together for our call to prayer. And as soon as we finish that Baruch Hu, you'll turn the page to 78, and we're going to sing the Hebrew at the top of that page too. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Ya-la-la-la-la, 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 ya-la-la-la-la. Barechu et Adonai ha-mevorach. Baruch Adonai ha-mevorach le'olam va'ed, le'olam va'ed. Ya-la-la-la-la, 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 ya-la-la-la-la. And when we turn to page 78, we find the words of our special blessing that thanks God for creating light and dark and the world and everything in it. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Yotzer or uvorei choshech, oseh shalom shalom uvorei et hakol. Yotzer or uvorei choshech, oseh shalom shalom uvorei et hakol. We're going to try that again because I know that was a lot of Hebrew. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Yotzer or uvorei choshech, oseh shalom shalom uvorei et hakol. Yotzer or uvorei choshech, oseh shalom shalom uvorei et hakol. And I know that you heard a word in there, something very special that God created as well. Shalom, peace. We turn now to page 81. God's love stretches. From top to bottom, it stretches and grows and melds the beginning and end.
God's love reaches. From start to finish, it reaches and spreads, forgetting just where it began.
God's love teaches. With stories and laws and rules and prayers, it teaches us best how to live.
In love, we listen. We too can stretch. We too can reach. And we too can teach as we seek the new year ahead.
Wrap us up in your peace like a great big talit. Hold us close with this prayer in your love.
Baruch atah Adonai, haboher be'amo Yisrael b'ahava.
And if you turn to the next page, you'll see a big shin in the middle, a big shin for the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto le'olam va'ed. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto le'olam va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. And if you are still standing like we were standing for the Baruch Hu and for the Shema, then it is time to sit down and give yourself a break. And we turn to page 84 for the words of the Hafta. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha. Ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha. Veshinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, b'shivtecha b'beitecha, uv'lechtecha v'derech, uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha, u'kshartam le'ot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot bein einecha, uchtavtam amezuzot beitecha uv'isharecha. Le'ma'an tizkeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'tem kadoshim le'elohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, Liyot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem.
We continue now on page 87. During the holiest days of our year, we renew our promise to stand up for what is right. We will not stand with our feet frozen to the ground and our arms limp by our sides. We will not stay silent when our voice is needed. We will not hide. We will not walk away. When people are sad, we will comfort them. When people are mean, we will stop them. When someone is hungry, we will feed them. When someone is cold, we will find them shelter. When there are tears, we will dry them. When there are hopes, we will support them. We know how slavery and sadness feel. We renew our promise this day to not stand idly by when others are suffering. We renew our promise this day to bring all people into our song of freedom.
And our special song of freedom is over on the right-hand side on page 86, those words of Micha Mocha. And if you see right at the top, when God freed our ancestors from slavery in Egypt, they were trapped between Pharaoh's army and the Sea of Reeds. God parted the sea so that the Israelites could cross safely to the other side. When Moses, Miriam, and the Israelites saw that they were safe and free, this is the song that they sang. But remember, this is our special melody for the high holy days, for Rosh Hashanah and for Yom Kippur. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, noradi lo osefele. Let's try that one more time. Let's really get that special high holy day melody into our heads, into our souls. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, noradi lo ofes pelel. And now we turn over to page 90. Before we start our ha-tefilla prayer on page 90, I want to show you something. On Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, we talk a lot about God as our king or our parent. We will say the words later in our service, Avinu Malkeinu. Avinu means our father or our parent, and Malkeinu is our king or our sovereign. A sovereign is a king or a queen and a prince and a princess, those people who were at the top. We actually do this on Shabbat and whenever we get together to pray. And we even show it sometimes in our movements. In this next prayer, there's a bow that we do at the beginning. When we get to page 92, we're going to do a little bow. And it's because this prayer was written a long time ago, when our ancestors would imagine God like the most important person they knew. And in that time, the most important person was the king. So when regular people would approach the king, they would bow. Well, God is even more important than a king or a queen or a prince or a princess. So we know that when we pray to God, we need to show our respect, and one of the ways we do that is to bow just like our ancestors did to God. So we'll start on page 90 with our Adonai Sifatai. Here we go. Adonai Sifatai tiftachu v'yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah. Ha'el hagadol hagibor v'hanora el elyon
גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אהבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. And on page 94, it's our special prayer asking God to remember us for life. We're asking God, who we know God treasures life, to think of us and write us, inscribe us in the book of life. Zochreinu, Zochreinu, Zochreinu lechayim, Melech, Melech, Chafetz b'chayim, v'chodvenu b'sefer ha'chayim, lemancha, lemancha, Elohim chayim. Zochreinu, Zochreinu, Zochreinu lechayim, Melech, Melech, Chafetz b'chayim.
O God, as we remember all you do, we make this promise to try to be like you. We will work to raise up those who fall, heal those who are sick, free those who are in need. As your partners, we will support the poor, feed the hungry, house the homeless, befriend the lonely, and give hope to all people. We will be caring Jews. As you have helped us live better lives, we shall help others. We praise you, O God, who gives meaning to our lives. We turn now to page 103. There is a holiness when we strive to be true to the best we know.
There is holiness when we are kind to someone who cannot be of service to us.
There is holiness when we promote family harmony.
There is holiness when we love truly and honestly and unselfishly.
There is holiness when we are willing to be laughed at for what we believe in.
There is holiness when we forget what divides us and remember what unites us.
There is holiness when we remember the lonely and bring cheer into a dark corner.
There is holiness when we share our bread, our ideas, our enthusiasm. We're going to take a few moments now for our own silent prayers. And you can think about in your life where the holiness is. We're going to turn now to page 113. And at the very bottom, you'll see the words for our prayer for peace, Oseh Shalom. Oseh Shalom, Bimroma, Oseh Shalom, Bimroma, Hu ya'aseh shalom, Hu ya'aseh shalom, Hu ya'aseh shalom, Aleinu. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes
ya'aseh shalom. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down.
We continue on the top of page 115. We call you parent, ruler, protector, source of life, and more. We search our minds and our hearts for metaphors that can describe your power, your love, your nearness, and your distance. We look around our synagogues and see the beauty that comes from embracing our own diversity. We celebrate the fact that no one is only one thing. Each of us can be loving, strong, scared, creative, unsure, silly, and more. Please bring healing to those who are sick around us. Be good to us and help us become better people. Understand that we make mistakes and are not perfect. Bring us a good year. Who are you? You are the one we love. We are we. We are the ones you love. Words limit us and you. Love makes us infinite. What more could we need to know?
And Michelle's going to open the ark so that we can sing those special words over on page 114, those words, Avinu Malkeinu, calling God our parent, our King. Avinu Malkeinu, Choneinu Leinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Choneinu Leinu, Ein banu ma'asim. Hasei banu, tzedakah v'chesed. Hasei banu, tzedakah v'chesed, ne'ushienu. Avinu Malkeinu, Choneinu Leinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Choneinu Leinu, ki ein banu ma'asim. Thank you, Michelle. We're going to turn now to page 123. On 123 is our prayer for healing. Dear God, we are thinking about lots of people in the world who are in need of healing. Some of them might be in our family. Some of them might be our friends. But there's also people all over the world, people who might be sick from the coronavirus, people who are really sad because they lost their homes in fires out in California and Oregon and Washington, all the way out west. We know that there are so many people who need healing. Just as you, God, helped our ancestors Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rebekah and Jacob, Rachel and Leah, please help all of those who need healing. Surround our loved ones with care like a warm blanket, and be like a soft pillow under their head. And share your strength and love with them so that they do not feel alone and scared. And we can sing together our Misha Berach prayer right there in the middle of the page. Misha Berach Mikor habracha imortenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mi shebe'elach imotenu mikor habracha la'avortenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. I'm going to put my guitar down for a moment, because I have a story for you today. And it's from this book called The Hardest Word. You can see the beautiful bird on the front. This book is by Jacqueline Jules, and I'm very excited to share the story with you today. But I'm also excited to share with you a new friend of mine. So just hold on one moment. He's over here hiding. This is my friend Zippy. Zippy's just a baby, right, Zippy? And the thing is, today, I know it's your first day on the bima, but you've got a big job to do. Are you ready? Yes? I hope so, Zippy. But before we start our big story, I need you to do something very important. You're going to have to use your imagination. Imagination? Yes, Zippy, because this story is about a giant bird, so big. And honestly, you're not so big, are you? It's not so big. You're kind of small. In fact, you're still in your egg. Is it comfortable in there? It is. I thought it might be. So Zippy, you're going to use your imagination to imagine yourself so big. And I know you have some beautiful brown feathers there on your forehead, but today you're going to imagine that they're purple. Can you imagine purple feathers right there on your forehead? Okay, Michelle, can you imagine purple feathers on Zippy's forehead? I can.
Zippy, I love the purple feathers on your forehead.
Thank you. Okay, so here we go. The Hardest Word, a Yom Kippur story by Jacqueline Jules. Once upon a time, the world was filled with amazing magical creatures, and one of those creatures was a gigantic bird called the Ziz. He was so big. Think of the biggest airplane you've ever seen. Even bigger than that, way bigger. A humongous bird with big, beautiful golden wings and a big purple feather right in the middle of his forehead. And he loved to fly through the air and know that all the kids were looking at him and admiring his wings and his beautiful purple feather, because Ziz loved the kids too. So one day, his wings were stretched out and he was soaring through the sky and zooming all the way up to the clouds and back down to the ground and then back up again. But when he zoomed up into the sky, he stretched his wings a little bit too far and he knocked a star out of the sky, and it came crashing down and made a big hole in the ground. And the Ziz thought, uh-oh, I've made a mistake. I'm going to fix it. So the Z's flew back up to the sky and used his other wing to knock a rain cloud. And the cloud came crashing down, splash! And its water filled the hole the star had made. And all of a sudden, the kids had a brand new swimming pool to play in. The Z's was pretty proud of himself. He had fixed his mistake. So he was feeling really good, and he's soaring through the sky once again. But here's the thing about the Z's. He was a little clumsy. And it wasn't long before he made another mistake. This time, his wing knocked over a giant tree, and the tree fell to the ground, and it smushed a vegetable garden that the kids were working on so that they could decorate their sukkah next week. The Z's felt awful, and he did what some of us do when we make a mistake. He went and hid. He flew to the top of a mountain where he hoped no one would see him, and he got into his shell. That's a great way to hide. That's right, Zippy. Okay, here we go. But while he was hiding, he heard God's voice.
What have you done this time, Z's?
This was not the first time God had found Z's hiding from his mistakes. I knocked over a tree, and it smushed a vegetable garden.
The children's garden?
God asked. Yes, the Z's admitted, hanging his head.
Now that's a problem.
What should I do? Asked the Z's.
I want you to do something for me.
God said. Anything, answered the Z's.
I want you to search the entire earth and bring back the hardest word.
The hardest word, repeated Z's. And he stretched his wings and flew off. He flew over mountains, he flew over trees, he flew over valleys, he flew over seas. After searching the whole day, the Z's stopped to rest at the edge of a forest. In a little house nearby, he heard a mother and child arguing. I don't want to go to bed, the little boy said. You need your rest, answered the mother. I'm not tired, the little boy cried. Good night, the mother said firmly, closing the door. That's it. Z's flapped his wings. The hardest word, I found it. Z's flew as fast as he could back to the mountains where God had spoken to him. I did it. I found the hardest word.
Well, what is it?
Asked God. It's good night. Every child hates that word.
Now, good night is a hard word for children, but there is another word, an even harder one.
The Z's was disappointed, but he spread out his wings and went back to his search. A few hours later, he was listening to people at a big feast and heard a little girl say, Mama, I'm hungry. May I have some spaghetti? The mother smiled and said, It's spaghetti, sweetheart. And Z's got very excited. He flew back to God and reported, I know the hardest word, it's spaghetti. God agreed, that is a very hard word to say, but it's not the hardest. Z sighed deeply and spread out his wings and went back to his search. He searched for 3 more days and brought lots of words back to God. Words like rhinoceros and ridiculous and Mississippi. But each time, God sent Z's back out to find another word. By the evening of Yom Kippur, Z's had brought over 100 words, but God hadn't accepted any of them. Discouraged, the Z's returned to the mountain.
Well, what word did you find this time?
God asked. No word, the Z's said quietly.
No word?
God asked. No, the Z's said sadly. I've come to say, I'm sorry. I can't find the hardest word.
You're sorry?
God asked. Yes, Z's nodded his head. I'm sorry.
Good job! You found the hardest word.
I did? Now the Z's was confused.
Yes!
God
While
said.
all the words you brought me were hard, sorry is the hardest. Sometimes it's really hard to say, I'm sorry.
I always say I'm sorry on Yom Kippur, the Z said.
Well, you should say it other times too.
God answered. Like when I smashed the garden, asked Z's.
That's right.
God said. The Z's knew what he had to do. He flew away and stopped at his own garden and filled his giant wings with vegetables and brought them to the children and said, I'm sorry. The end. Thank you, Zippy.
Zippy, you did a great job in that purple feather.
Thank you, Michelle. All right, I'm gonna put you away. I'll see you later. My friends, we're going to turn to page 136. And on 136, you'll find a list. It's a long list of all the different things that we can say we're sorry for today on this Yom Kippur. And you'll see in that list, there's a dark letter in each line. And that dark letter, if you look all the way down the lines, you can see it makes up the alphabet. That's a special reading called an acrostic, when a list of something spells out something for us. And on Yom Kippur, not just the children, but all of the grown-ups and all of the Jewish people say a list of things that we're sorry for. So we're going to read those words in Hebrew. But I know that you can read along with us when we get to that English with each one. So I'm going to start at the top with the first one, Ashamnu. We have acted without thinking.
But God knew. We have been bystanders to bullying.
Gazalnu. We have been careless with other people's things.
Dibarnu dofi. We have done harm with our words.
He'evinu. We have erred by not acting ethically.
Hirshanu. We have forgotten who we are.
Zadnu. We have grossly misjudged others.
Hamasnu. We have acted out of hatred.
Tafalnu shaker. We have ignored the truth.
Ya'atznu ra. We have used poor judgment.
Kizavnu. We have said things we know to be untrue.
Latznu. We have laughed at people, not with them.
Maradnu. We have made enemies instead of friends.
Niatznu. We have taken the name of God in vain.
Sararnu. We have overwhelmed our parents and teachers.
Avinu. We have put down other people's accomplishments.
Pashanu. We have quit too soon.
Zararnu. We have disrespected the rights of others.
Kishinu oref. We have been stubborn and stiff-necked.
Rashanu. We have tolerated cruelty.
Shichatnu. We have not stood up for what we believe in.
Tiavnu. We have violated our values.
Tayinu. We have gone the wrong way.
Taitanu. We have extinguished other people's joy and hope.
We have yelled when we could have spoken with clarity and kindness.
We have been lazy about doing the right thing.
And if you look below, this is a song, and this is a song called Tap Your Heart. And what we're going to do is make a little fist with our hands and give your heart a little tap. Not hard, we're not trying to hurt ourselves. We want to help our heart open up. And just like on the door, when we knock, 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 and we open up, we're going to give our heart a little tap and say, open up, heart. because we want to remind our heart to help us to be better people and better friends this year. So here's our song, and you're going to repeat after me. Actually, first we're going to start with our chorus. Let's do a little tapping first. So Michelle's going to show you what we do. Tap, tap, tap your heart. Tap, tap, tap your heart. Tap, tap, tap your heart. On Yom Kippur, it's time to restart. Okay, now we're going to repeat after me. We've made mistakes.
We've made mistakes.
We've done bad things.
We've done bad things.
But this is what the new year brings.
The new year brings.
A chance to change.
A chance to change.
A chance to grow.
A chance to grow.
With one first step.
With one first step.
Nice and slow.
Nice and slow.
Tap, tap, tap your heart. Tap, tap, tap your heart. Tap, tap, tap your heart. On Yom Kippur, it's time to restart. We've used bad words.
We've used bad words.
And hurt our friends.
And hurt our friends.
These mistakes
are
not the end.
Are not the end.
We do teshuvah.
We do teshuvah.
And learn to do good.
We learn to do good.
We tap our hearts.
So we tap our hearts.
To remind us we should.
To remind us we should.
Tap, tap, tap your heart. Tap, tap, tap your heart. Tap, tap, tap your heart. On Yom Kippur, it's time to restart. One more time, tap your heart, everybody. Tap, tap, tap your heart. Tap, tap, tap your heart. Tap, tap, tap your heart. On Yom Kippur, it's time to restart.
So we turn now to page 139. Sometimes we miss the mark, or we don't try our best. Sometimes we miss the mark on purpose, and sometimes by accident. Sometimes we miss the mark by not caring, and sometimes by being mean. Sometimes we miss the mark by acting like we are better than others, and sometimes by not listening. Sometimes we miss the mark by telling lies, and sometimes by hurting people's feelings. Sometimes we miss the mark by being selfish, and sometimes by losing our temper. God, none of us is perfect. We remember the times we have missed the mark, so that the next time we can do better. Forgive us and help us to try harder. Help us to learn from our mistakes. Help us to be the best people we can be.
And now we're going to turn to page 142 for the Aleinu. So if everybody would stand up one more time. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Please turn to page 145. I miss you today. Today, families come together to celebrate, and so today, I miss you more than I normally do. I thought about you when we sang the prayer you loved, and I remembered how you used to share your talit with me when I got cold. I thought about the way you always whispered something funny and made me laugh when I was supposed to be quiet. I felt nervous as the service ended because I knew that I would need to stand up for this prayer, and I didn't know if I could do it without crying. I hope you know that even as I try to say the words of the Kaddish, what I'm really saying is that I miss you today and that I will love you always. Zikronam livracha. May their memories be a blessing in this year and always.
We turn now for our Kaddish prayer on page 146. And we rise together, all of us together as a community, thinking about the people in our lives who we've lost. And we say these words: Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam ul'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal shemei dekudsha barichu le'ela u'le'ela mikol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran v'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shalama Rabba min Shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Osei shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru. Amen. May the one who creates peace in the heights, in the heavens, make peace for us, all Israel, and all who dwell on earth, and let us say, Amen. We turn over now to page 154 for another very special reading.
Our lives are an alphabet, not only of the wrongs we do, but also of what we do right. From A to Z, we carry our goodness into the year ahead.
And I just want to make sure, Michelle, I want to make sure that everybody heard that. Because earlier in the service, we said we were sorry for things that we didn't do right during the year. But it's very important to remember the things we did do right. Our successes, when we made people feel good. So this is our list of remembering all of those good things so that we can take all of that good energy and bring us into this new year of 5781. A, we have achieved our goals.
B, we have befriended others.
C, we have cared for animals.
D, we are delightful.
E, we have embraced those who love us.
F, we have faced forward in difficult times.
Oh my goodness. Yes, we have. All of you have. We know you have, and you've done a wonderful job. G, we have given generously to those in need.
H, we are helpers.
I, we have invited others to play.
J, we have joked with family and friends.
K, we have kept keepsakes that make us laugh and smile.
L, we are loving.
M, we have made special memories.
N, we have never given up.
O, we have opened our hearts to others.
P, we have protected the environment.
Q, we have been quiet when it was time for quiet.
are, but we have also been really, really loud.
S, we have shared our ideas.
T, we have tried our best.
U, we have looked under rocks to see what's hiding there.
V, we have created vibrant artwork.
W, we have worked hard in school.
X, we have grown exponentially, which means a lot.
Y, we have surprised you. We have comforted you. We have loved you.
Z, we have lived a full year with wholehearted zest, as only children and their parents do. We turn now to page 155. As we leave this holy space, we remember the work that we have done over the past 10 days.
We remember all the reasons why we said, I am sorry, to our parents, our children, our families, and our friends.
We also remember that you, God, are with us always and protect us and forgive us.
We thank you, God, for also giving us these days to celebrate with family and friends, and remember that we are part of a larger Jewish community.
We look forward to joining together again next year, possibly differently, and once again hearing the sound of the shofar.
So we turn to pages 156 and 157, and you'll see at the top, if you can read Hebrew, you can see that says Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad in the rainbow above. But as we come down on page 156, we can see those words there written out for us. But there's more words down below. And the tradition is that we say together that first line, the Shema. So we're going to say, Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. And our next line, we're going to say this one 3 times. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. That means blessed is God's glorious majesty forever and ever. And this bottom sentence, we're going to say 7 times. And then when we're done, we're going to hear the last blast of the shofar. If you'll remember the Tekiah Gedolah, the big blast of the shofar. So our words are Adonai hu ha-Elohim. Here we go. Adonai hu ha-Elohim. 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 Adonai is God. And we go now to our shofar blowers. Tekiah Gedolah. Lishana tova tikatevu, Lishana tova tikatevu, Lishana tova v'techatemu, Lishana tova tikatevu, Lishana tova tikatevu, Lishana tova v'techatemu. Shana Tova.